Why does time feel faster as you get older? Have you ever noticed something strange? When you were a child, a year felt enormous. Summer vacation seemed endless. Waiting for your birthday felt like torture. And Christmas, it felt like it took forever to arrive. But now, weeks disappear, months blur together, and somehow, people are already talking about the end of another year. Many adults have the same unsettling thought. Didn't 2020 happen just yesterday? So what happened? Did time actually speed up, or is something else going on? Because according to science, the answer is far more interesting than you might think, and it has everything to do with how your brain experiences reality. Let's start with a simple question. How long is 1 minute? The obvious answer is 60 seconds, but your brain doesn't experience time that way. Imagine sitting in a waiting room. Your phone battery is dead. There are no magazines, no music, no conversation, just you and a clock slowly ticking on the wall. 1 minute feels long. 5 minutes feels painful. 10 minutes can feel like an hour. Now imagine something different. You're playing your favorite game, or watching a movie you're completely absorbed in. Hours pass. Then suddenly you check the time, and it's 2 a.m. The same clock measured both situations, but your experience was completely different. Why? Because your brain doesn't measure time directly. It measures experiences. And that's where things get interesting. One of the oldest explanations for why time feels faster as we age is called the proportional theory. The idea is surprisingly simple. Imagine you're 5 years old. 1 year represents 20% of your entire life. That's huge. But if you're 50 years old, 1 year represents only 2% of your life. The exact same year suddenly becomes much smaller compared to everything you've already experienced. Think of it like money. If someone gives a child $100, it feels like a fortune. If someone gives a billionaire $100, they probably won't even notice. The amount is identical, but the context changes everything. Time may work the same way. Each year becomes a smaller fraction of your life, and because of that, it feels shorter. It's an elegant theory, and it probably explains part of the phenomenon, but many scientists believe something even more important is happening, something hidden deep inside your memory. Think back to your childhood. Almost every week was filled with firsts. Your first day of school, your first best friend, your first bike ride, your first sleepover, your first trip to another city, your first heartbreak, your first victory, your first failure. The world was constantly surprising you, and your brain loves surprises. New experiences demand attention. They require learning. They create new neural connections. And most importantly, they create memories. Lots of memories. What many people don't realize is that your brain doesn't actually record time. It records events. Then later, it reconstructs time based on how many memories it can find. This is a crucial idea, because it means your sense of time is heavily tied to the amount of information stored in your memory. The more memories your brain creates, the longer a period feels when you look back on it. The fewer memories it creates, the shorter that period appears. And that brings us to adulthood. For many adults, life becomes predictable. Wake up, brush your teeth, drive to work, answer emails, attend meetings, eat lunch, drive home, watch something, sleep, repeat, repeat, repeat. Your brain becomes incredibly efficient. In fact, it becomes so efficient that it starts running large parts of your life on autopilot. You no longer need to consciously think about many daily tasks. And because those experiences are familiar, your brain doesn't bother creating detailed new memories. Why would it? As far as your brain is concerned, you've done all of this before. So when you look back at the past year, something strange happens. There aren't many unique memory markers. The days blend together, the months merge into one giant blur, and your brain reaches a simple conclusion: that year must have gone by quickly, not because time accelerated, but because there wasn't much new information to remember. This effect becomes obvious when we travel. Think about your last vacation. While you were on the trip, it probably felt like time flew by. Before you knew it, it was time to go home. But months later, when you think back on that trip, it often feels surprisingly long. Why? Because every day was packed with novelty. New streets, new food, new sounds, new people, new experiences. Your brain was working overtime, recording details, building memories, creating a rich timeline. A 5-day vacation can sometimes feel longer in memory than an ordinary month at home, not because it lasted longer, but because it contained more experiences. In a sense, memories stretch time, and routine compresses it. Scientists observed a similar effect during the COVID-19 pandemic. Many people reported a strange contradiction. Individual days felt painfully slow, but entire years seemed to vanish. At first, this sounds impossible. How can both be true? The answer lies in the difference between experiencing time and remembering time. During lockdowns, daily life became repetitive. Many people stayed inside, worked from home, watched the same walls, followed similar routines. While living through it, boredom made each day feel longer. But afterward, there were very few memorable events to anchor those months in memory. As a result, several years became compressed into what feels like a single chapter of life. Some people even describe those years as if they were stolen from them, not because they disappeared, but because there are so few memories attached to them. So is there anything we can do? Can we slow down time? Not literally, but psychologically, yes. And the answer is surprisingly simple. Seek novelty. Learn something new. Take a different route home. Visit a place you've never been. Start a hobby. Meet new people. Challenge yourself. Anything that forces your brain out of autopilot. Because every new experience creates additional memory markers, and those markers make life feel fuller, richer, longer. This may explain why childhood feels endless. Children are constantly discovering things. Everything is new. Everything is surprising. Everything matters. Adults often stop exploring, not because they want to, but because life becomes comfortable, predictable, efficient. Unfortunately, efficiency comes with a hidden cost. It can make life feel shorter. But there may be an even deeper lesson here. Perhaps the real tragedy isn't that time speeds up. Perhaps it's that we slowly stop noticing the world around us. As children, we pay attention to everything. Every insect, every cloud, every strange sound, every new possibility. But over time, familiarity replaces curiosity. And curiosity is what stretches time. The more curious you are, the more memories you create. The more memories you create, the longer life feels. Maybe that's why some people seem to live 100 lives inside a single lifetime. Not because they have more years, but because they fill those years with experiences, with stories, with adventures, with firsts. So perhaps time isn't actually moving faster. Maybe your brain is simply running out of new things to notice. And maybe the secret to making life feel longer isn't adding more years to your life. Maybe it's adding more life to your years. Because when you look back on your childhood, what you miss isn't the time itself. It's the endless stream of discoveries, the feeling that the world was bigger than you imagined, the feeling that tomorrow could bring something completely new. And maybe that's still possible, no matter how old you are. So here's a question. Looking back on your life, which year felt the longest, and which year disappeared the fastest? Your answer might reveal more about your life than you think, and perhaps more about time itself.